Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Second Friday Concerts from the First Church Belmont in Belmont, Massachusetts. I'm John Spetke, your erstwhile host, and happy fall, everybody. We've been gone since June, took the summer off, did all those summery things. Now we're back in the saddle, doing a couple more online concerts before we are back in person. Fingers crossed, in November. But our first concert this year starts tonight with our good friend Jim Scott. Let me tell you about the Second Friday, though. Since 1985, the Second Friday has been putting on concerts, mostly folk music and some rock and soft rock and blues kind of stuff, but mostly folk. Since 1985, and all the net proceeds have always gone to charities throughout the greater Belmont area in Massachusetts, and sometimes national charities, but it's all charity based. And although during COVID and continuing forward, we're looking at supporting our artists more than pretty much anybody else these days. We're trying to do as well as we can for our artists. So all of the donations that you make tonight will go to Jim. And if you buy a season ticket to the Second Friday on our Second Friday website, a portion of that goes to charities as well, and to help support the concerts going forward. And as I said, we are hoping to be live in person starting in November with some serious restrictions, vaccination and mask restrictions and smaller audience sizes where we have a capacity limit. We're hashing those things out as we speak. We'll have more information on our website, www.secondfridayconcerts.org. That'll come up on your screen over the course of the night. Also over the course of the night, that'll come up because that's where you can donate to Jim for the virtual tip jar. In the virtual tip jar will be the place where you can send Jim some money, and then we can pay him. For those of you who don't know Jim Scott, he and I have been becoming good friends over the last few days, but I'm learning all this amazing stuff about Jim. He's a longtime music veteran and just has this amazing long career. It's just fantastic to hear about, played everywhere, done all sorts of amazing, cool things. He played with the Paul Winter Consort. He wrote the Mississauga Earth Mass. He wrote their anthemic song, Common Ground. He's toured the world. He's recorded CDs. He's got a new album out, which he'll play songs from tonight. He's got a brand new song or two that he might foist upon y'all this evening, and, forgive him if he misses up a chord or two because, it's new. You'll like it, and you'll be fine with that. Anyways, he and I are going to talk over the course of the night. I'm going to say hello to him in a second here. I'm going to stop my yakking. I'm going to bring Jim on, and we'll chat for a couple seconds. And then after every two or three songs, we'll come on, we'll chat a little bit, and spend the next hour or so with y'all. Anyways, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jim Scott, everybody. Hey, Jim.
Hello. Well,
how's it going? How's it going tonight? Great to see you on here.
Yeah, as we turn down my computer speaker, I got to have headphones on to hear you.
Yeah, there you go. I got to make sure that I don't talk too loud like I usually do.
Oh, you're coming through good, just perfect.
I hope we're all coming through loud and clear, and I really appreciate you doing this for the Second Friday. You're our first show of the 2021-22 season, and we're psyched to have you. I'm thrilled to have you here tonight. So I'm going to stop talking, and we'll do some chatting after you do a couple of tunes. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Do two things, and then
cool.
Then we'll talk. I'm going to put these down. Turn the bottom string down a step for the guitar players out there. It's not my most flamboyant song, but I like to start with this song sometimes. A song for just this time of day, of night. The evening cool awakens, passing days, elusive spirits have no fear of shadow, for they know the darkness as a holy place. Their nocturnal take on science is their personal defiance. They play in love and morning comes too soon. Laughing at the sun, sailing with the moon. Laughing at the sun, sailing with the moon. She knows the spring by blossom scent, and the autumn by the wind, and knows you best by possibility. She hears your heart in your voice, and knows your mood in your step, the grace of one who does not need to see, to see. Cutting through the interference, unswayed by mere appearance, with the sense to sense when all's in tune. Laughing at the sun, sailing with the moon. 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 Well, want to say about that. I happened to be at this meeting once. I'm not a minister, but I was in this meeting with Unitarian Universalist ministers, and they were talking about giving darkness a better name. You know, everything is the light, go toward the light, I see the light, shine your light, everything light, it's good. But darkness, you know, what is that? And like, so I wrote a more dense poem about that darkness is the beginning. Things begin in darkness and whatever. It's a time. It's not necessarily a foreboding time. It's a time of rest, a time of gestation, a time of where a whole lot of stuff that you don't see is going on. And then I lightened up and I wrote that song. It says in the first thing, the evening cool and all the beings come out at night and they play in love and morning comes too soon. The second verse says, she knows the spring by blossom scent, the autumn by the wind, various other things. And since so many people have asked, I try not to write obscure songs. So many people have asked, what is that all about? So she hears your heart and your voice, knows your mood and your step, one who does not need to see. So a person who is blind, I thought of it actually when I lived in Eugene, Oregon, and at the bank. I was at the bank and I saw my friend that I know from church, and she's coming across the street when the bell rings with her white cane, and suddenly I got it. Oh, that's so. I was thinking when you were denied one sense, and you're in darkness. That's still a perfectly valid place to be. So people have said, "Is that about the goddess? Is that about Well, if she's the goddess, she'll be glad to know. I'll have to make sure she knows. I've been playing this song for decades now, but since I first joined the Paul Witter Consort. I didn't write it, I added words, but Ivan Lins, great Brazilian composer, wrote this melody, and he let us take it and put new English words to it, not a translation, but new words. And I got to sing it. Voices are calling round the earth, music is rising in the sea, the spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Where is the path beyond the forest? Where is the song I always knew? I remember it just around the bend. In the village, the music never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. There's a chorus that you can sing. Let's try that in two languages like this. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Somewhere is the melody we need. There is a certain harmony, even a rhythm in the trees, in the song that we always know. As every road comes to its end, so every path was crossed again. Now I'm returning to my heart, back to the song that is our own. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Where is the path beyond the forest? Where is the song I always knew? I remember it just around the bend. In the music, the village never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. I'm gonna pick up these headphones in case we're gonna.
That was awesome. I never heard that
Thank
song
you.
before, Jim. That was great.
Oh yeah, I've played it to death for like since 1977.
Wow. Wow, you got a new fan tonight. That's pretty cool.
Well, thanks. And that's
So-
that's my version of it with the, getting on that riff.
Yeah. So I'm curious about. I understand a bunch of folks at our UU church, at our church in Belmont, we all know your song "Gather the Spirit," and I understand
My
that
claim
you are
to fame. Yes.
your claim to fame, exactly. I guess in some circles, right? And that's a pretty cool thing. Though I was thinking tonight when it occurred to me that I probably saw you play with Paul Winter back in the '80s. A friend of mine really liked that group a lot and took me to see them at. I want to say it was either at the Berkeley Performance Center or some other place in Boston. And it was a concert with like several other acts on the bill. It was you guys, and I want to say maybe Judy Collins and Buskin and Bateau, and it was like this really big kind of concert.
I think, I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't on the band on that thing, but we were. We played at Symphony Hall. We did.
It may have been
some other things, and we did the Missagaya Earth Mass.
I just remember it was back. It was in the time. I'm pretty sure it was when you were with that group. It must have been back then, but it was in the '80s sometime. I just can't remember. But anyways, back to Gather the Spirit. I digress. I understand that you are you have a different version of it that you'd like to share with people these days.
I wrote that when they were making the Gray hymn book. It was my desperate attempt to get something into the hymn book. I'd submitted various songs, like in fact even that Common Ground that I just played. No, that's too syncopated, and then there's something wrong. And I actually got a commission. They commissioned, gave a little money to 6 people, and the other 5, their songs are in the book. But I wrote the song that's called Harmony, and it modulates all over the place. And they said, "Oh no, that modulates too much. It's got a double sharp in it. That'll scare everybody." So they were ruling out every song. Like, "Oh no, that one's not good for this reason or that reason." And wow, they're not going to take any of my songs. So it was just before Thanksgiving. I was going to play at this interfaith Thanksgiving service in Eugene, Oregon, and I thought I got to write something new and write something that'll go in the hymn book. I'm just going to write quarter notes, just da 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 da, and put the boogieing in the accompaniment. And sure enough, they took it. So I'm delighted. People everywhere know.
And the rest is history.
Know Gather the Spirit.
There you go.
And so Pat LaManna, a friend, great folk singer too, wrote some funny words to it, and I even took it a step further. Aggravated. And, So yeah, I could do that.
Why don't you do that and do a couple more tunes, and we'll do a little bit more chatting in a little
Yeah,
bit. That'd be awesome.
yeah, and maybe the song "The Oneness of Everything," and then I've got a new song called "From the Third Dimension."
Can't wait to
I
hear
would say these are so delving into maybe a little more spiritual. I don't know. You'll see what you think of this. Gather in spirit, but shelter in place. Let's do what we can to flatten the curve. Wash your hands off, but don't touch your face. This virus is something no one deserves. Everybody gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Stay in your homes, wash hard surfaces and phones, spray disinfectant and wipe it off twice. You can eat a banana while wearing a bandana, but you might avoid bed rest with this sage advice. Gather on Skype, gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Don't share your lip balm, no kissing your friends, not even fist bumps. Stay 6 feet apart. Reach out your hands. Don't reach out your hands, just reach out your heart. Keep social distance like someone made rhymes with heart. Gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. Gather in spirit, pray for the scared, the sick and the poor, the lonely at home. Count all your blessings and reach out and share. Let everyone know that they're not alone. Gather on Skype, gather on Skype, gather on Zoom, gather by phone with family and friends. Gather online, but don't leave your room. Let's all stay safe until this crisis ends. This song is it was part of a musical that I wrote first, a musical that has to do with saving the old growth forests, and this kid who fights to save his favorite tree from being cut down. But this song doesn't move the plot along, so I didn't need to tell you that part. But I'm honored this song got in our Teal Singing the Journey hymn book. Far beyond the grasp of hands, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind, there find the key to nature's harmony in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love, expanding the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees, who stir before the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song, becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long past that touch our own are written in the earth, forever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living, for the oneness of everything. From chords that sound of molecules spinning billions to a cell, the call resounds afar to the sun who warms the dancing earth, and whose song holds it close on the journey of a star. Songs of lives long past that touch our own are written in the earth, forever giving, and now to maintain the harmony gives to us all lives worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms defined, vast and immeasurable, time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years, just might I know the faith that winters in the heart, to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything. Well, I have some unobtrusive pieces of paper here. Look, resort to there it is. I need this. Here's a new song, relatively new song. I just realized that in that last song there was a verse like the birds who rise up and so on. Well, that's kind of the image that goes on in this song. I was thinking about. I knew enough not to call it. Oh, great! I've lost it. Well, I knew enough not to call it the migrating bird song or something. Let's see what's happening. I have perfect pitch. It's right here. See, D right there. D, yeah. A. Whoops, it's a little sharp. What did we do for 50 years without that? Without that little button to push. And it's worth mentioning maybe I play a nylon string guitar most of the time. I do play a steel string guitar and sometimes a 12 string and even an electric sometimes, but I thought I'd stick to the nylon string, the classical guitar tonight. So I can just stay sitting as I do. And I got any guitar players, I got to show you this. It's clear plastic, and it sticks on with suction cups on the back of the guitar, and then holds the guitar. See, so this goes on my knee. It is great. That's how I can hold the guitar without putting my foot on a footstool or, twisting my back, and all. It's a great thing. It's called Guitar Lift. And I couldn't even find it marketed in this country. I saw it on something, a German guitarists using it, and wow, I got to find that. I was using a thing called the A-frame that sticks on with suction cups on the bottom of here, but that would come off sometimes at the wrong time. But this one sticks beautifully. It's suction cups on the back of the guitar, and it doesn't. Anyway. I don't get any commission for it. The place you can find it, actually, is the only place I found it was Strings by Mail in Upper Michigan, which is a nice shop. They're going to pay me for this. I started thinking about the song. The migrating birds are referred to in the beginning of the song, but that's better. So the migrating birds and all that. But I thought, I remembered a sermon by a great old Unitarian minister, John DeWolf Hurt, and one time we were peace marchers. He said, these peace marchers have seen the third dimension. And he went on to tell this story about, you're down here on the ground, and of course there's three dimensions, but it's flat. Or you're looking this way and that, and you can't see because there's something in the way, and so on. But you rise up and get to that third dimension. Oh, then you see things. And so, and this was in Florida, and he's saying, they got those glass bottom boats over there, The Everglades, you know, you out there and you think you're on the water, but then you look down. Oh my goodness, look at that! All the fish down there, and then I got to go up in a hot air balloon and look down. Oh yes, and then think of the astronauts looking at the Earth. So he went through that whole thing. None of that is in this song. Well, it is sort of, but well, now I don't have to sing the song. Yes, I do. So I just thought if it didn't sound too much like, you know, there was a musical group, the Fifth Dimension, or we use dimension in some kind of like sci-fi way. I'm not speaking of that at all. Just measurement is what that's what I'm thinking in this song. It's called From the Third Dimension. Soaring beyond doubt over Earth's solemn gravity, in noisy migration, still they long for their rest. The sun kissed their wings as they carved the sky eternal, looking to the night when they'll sleep in their nest. Voyagers heed signs written on the wide horizon. From their third dimension, find the secrets they seek. Quest for nobility, sustenance, serenity beckons to the brave as it comforts the meek. So may we see over barriers and borderlines a bond of all beings on the earth, land, and sea, dreaming the world where each life is truly valued, rendering a justice that restores humanity. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always just beyond our understanding. In the greater dance, may we each play our part. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always just beyond our understanding. In the greater dance, may we each play our part. I think I have to pick up my headphones so we can talk normally.
Hey, that was pretty cool.
Hi,
Brand
John.
new song. That's awesome.
Thank you. That was nice to do.
So was the bird imagery and the bird stuff happening because you were spending more time over the last year seeing all the birds in your neighborhood, having to spend all this time in our houses? You know, everybody seems to be getting into birding these days. Is it like one of those, or is it just like a thing that you like the imagery in general? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I actually, it wasn't just last week, it was a little while ago. We're hearing it's the hottest summer ever.
Yeah.
And now it's the wettest summer ever. The most rain ever, apparently, and you know, our basement is flooded a couple times all. And then one day I heard the honking, and there's Canada geese flying overhead. And oh my God, the seasons are still changing.
Yep.
And the world is still, it's sort of like there's still hope or something. I don't know.
I won't tell you about the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom experience we had in our front yard the other day. we'll keep that for another time. Suffice it to say that there were a couple of crows hanging out that were hungry, and it was not very pretty by the end of the afternoon, is all I have to say. Anyways,
boy, my neighbor putting out his trash in the plastic bag. The crows, boy, they did that in.
That's a
It
bad
It
idea.
was all over the.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
I hate to think they're devouring the plastic too, but
Yeah, they're
anyway.
smart enough to stay away from that. Crows are, from what I understand, crows are pretty darn smart.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, but,
Yeah. So I understand.
Yeah, I got on another subject there. I got on my pedestal about the Earth, and
It's totally
it's sort
fine.
of my big thing. Environmentalism, largely in a lot of songs.
That's
nature figures in a lot in the songs.
You know, the 17-year-old children that we both have would be totally fine with your singing about and worrying about and caring for the Earth these days. That's like top of mind for our children. So
yeah,
it's a great thing. Anyways, you have a new album that you just put out, and play some songs from it for us now.
Just in time for COVID, I came out with this last year. And,
well, you know,
I have a song. It'll be the last song I play tonight, and I close with it a lot. It's my song. It's called "May Your Life Be as a Song." The chorus of it is in the Teal hymn book, actually, but I have verses to it too.
Nice.
And but I'll play that, and for years I just loved Brazilian music and Latin music, and I'm playing a nylon string guitar, so it's more lends itself to that South American thing, why was I saying? So people would come to my table after a service or a concert. I'd end with that song, and people would so many times. Okay, which album has the most of that on it? And well, there's that one here, and there's one over here. But and enough people said, why don't you make a whole album of? Well, it's not a whole album of it, but there's a lot of Caribbean, Brazilian samba, and I guess maybe soca rhythm, things like that, South American rhythms on the album. My songs, but I put those rhythms to it.
That's super cool.
So let's. Well, this is one. It's I think of it as a samba kind of a thing. So I'll do three things and then we'll talk.
Sounds great.
I'm presuming to just keep going, and you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Not just John. I can't hear any of you. So sing along. No judgments. For we have this life ever rising up. We can think of a piece from the ever-flowing cup. We have vision when we trust our hearts, surrender to the dance and let the magic start. We have spirit to live well and long, bonds of humanity rooted deep and strong. Sorrow and anger fade and love will win when we open up and let the magic in. We have powers, we have feelings, we have learning, we have healing, we have imagination, and we have art. Surrender to the dance and let the magic start. We have love, the great mystery that surrounds our fears and sets us free. For only love can mend the wounded heart, if only we will let the magic start. Nosotros todos una fuerza do querer, basta comenzar, a paz renacerá, então seremos inmensa multidão, na magia desejável de viver. Nosotros todos a força do querer, basta começar, a paz renacerá, então seremos imensa multidão, na magia desejável de viver. We have the great mystery that surrounds our fears and sets us free. For only love can mend the wounded heart, if only we will let the magic start. Nosotros todos a fuerza no querer, basta con estar, a paz renacerá, entonces inmensa multidão, na magia desse arte de viver. Nosotros todos a fuerza no querer, basta con estar, na paz renacerá, entonces inmensa multidão, na magia desse arte de viver. La 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 I guess that's a bit of a UU-oriented thing too, because a great minister friend, Aaron Payson, invited me to play at a service. He said, "I know your songs. I don't think you got something." No, you don't know all my songs, but he said it's going to be about magic. So, well, okay, I'll write one. So I did. Magic. I'm into that. You know, here we are, eating the sun on this planet, evolving green thing. So, magic, yeah, I think so. Okay. I heard this, a photographer on the radio, he's talking about photography, and he said, it's light remembering itself. Wow, that just touched me. Maybe they all say that. I'd never heard that before. Light remembering itself, like through a lens on chemicals and, you know, on film, or maybe nowadays it's just ones and zeros, and, you know, but somehow light remembers itself. This photography that my daughter and her friends, you know, document their lives 100 times a day with every different angle of every different thing. I forgot to turn this off. I know it's right here. I used to have a brain. Now I have this. It does everything. So what's going on in this song? We're looking at a picture, apparently. Is it on the wall? Is it on your iPhone? And who's in this picture exactly? Perfection of youth, caught candor opposed, action and repose in a singular rush. Neither flaw or shortcoming really shows, frozen in time through lens or brush. Fleeting evidence revived on cue, what light remembering itself can do. Smile of attraction or polite deference, the stolen soul shows no progression, coy avoidance of preference, emotion and connection, an open question, perhaps a mistake to accept as true what light remembering itself can do. profound affair of the heart. Reflection on the moment of grace, now reduced to 2 dimensions in a work of art. This order imposed on time and space, at once old and forever new, what light remembering itself can do. At once old and forever new, what light remembering itself around you. Oh, a little song here about the passage of time. Got so tall, wish the wind would stop blowing. Got so wide, wish the toenails would stop growing. Feet so slow, like they're stuck in molasses. Eyes so dim, wondering where I put my glasses. Only good thing about getting old is you're getting older too. Ha ha ha. Only good thing about getting old is getting older with you. Got so hairy, wanna hibernate in winter. Got so scary, the little dogs and little children. Got so bald on top, blinding people with the reflection. Belly looks like Brazil in the Mercator projection. Only good thing about getting old is you're getting older too. I didn't want to bring it up, but only good thing about getting old is getting older with you. Something for the old folks there. Got so stiff, coins on the floor can stay there. Got so crabby, don't know why I should still play fair. Got so forgetful, don't know what I came to do here. Don't know who you all are, but I'm still happy to see you here. Only good thing about getting old is you're getting older too. Everybody, and only good thing about getting old is getting older with you. Oh, thank you, everybody.
I love that song.
Get back my communications device here.
I have to wait for Jim to put his headphones on here and say the same thing.
It bounced and it went too far away.
That song was great. I love that last song.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I just tossed that off one time. I thought it was just a little novelty something. But as I was making the album, Dan Tynan, my engineer, said, "Now that's your hit song." Oh no, no, I don't want to be famous for like getting old. I
Well,
guess.
it's a really nice tune.
Oh, thanks. Just what being silly, I guess.
Yeah, it's great. It's like one of
Uh,
those tunes that
but
you can see it being played with like some super cool like jazz quartet,
well,
keys.
yeah,
I mean, just you can see it, just some guy playing on a piano. It's really great.
I fall back into that sometimes. Played a lot of that.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's
Uh,
great.
get in the groove and do
It
that.
sounds to me like that sort of stride guitar thing happening there is like a really really sweet thing that you can't put down once you start playing that style. Like I can see you like sitting around playing that kind of thing like all
Yeah,
afternoon. It just sounds
yeah,
so nice,
yeah,
feels good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Missed the Saturday dance.
exactly.
I
Right,
heard they crowded the floor.
right, exactly. It's super cool. It just sounds super cool. Yeah, I got hands of concrete, so I can't play stuff like that.
Well, I always like to think of Paul Desmond. Said I'm the world's slowest sax player. Yeah, I went to Berkeley, but there's all those guys who can win the 100-yard dash. I'm not one of those. I just,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think
I hope it shows I know something.
I agree with that. I'm like that too. I'm
I
the
just want
slowest
to
guy out
be
there.
on the right note.
I So one more thing before you get to your next couple of tunes. We were talking earlier this week about
Where are we?
you had some little connection with Pete Seeger and did some kids songs and got you into doing some of that stuff, and maybe you do a couple of those for us. That'd be a pretty cool thing if you want to
Yeah,
do some of
actually,
that.
I forgot about it. I didn't put that in the program. Thanks for remembering. Let me do a Pete Seeger song, and
Yeah,
then
and a kids tune.
yeah, I got out of Eastman School of Music, classical oriented place, and I had just played a guitar concerto with the uh, not to brag, but I thought I was uh, with the Corning Philharmonic. I went to Eastman School of Music in Rochester and somehow got to do this thing, with a real orchestra. And I was playing chamber music and things like that, and playing gigs as well. And went from, as we all probably, went from a Beatles band to a whatever else it was, to and soul band, and we had um, uh, doing. I didn't know what I was. I was just playing guitar, and wrote a song, but here and there, but I didn't respect it somehow, and I just didn't grow up with that identity that I want to be a folk singer or something, or certainly not a rock star or something. I just want to be a gigging musician. And then I was in the Army band, the Army Jazz Ambassadors band, and then played in bars with a lot of great musicians for years, playing, called it hair music, haircut music, because you get a different haircut and you play a different style of music. Go from hippie to country to never quite really did country, but when there was that sort of country folk thing, or
Yeah,
then it was disco and it was whatever else ruled, and then suddenly I got the gig with the Paul Winter Consort, and also, and I worked I was making money and trying to put myself back in school, and went to graduate school, and then went to Berkeley, but also got the job with the Paul Winter Consort, and suddenly I'm sitting on a stage and everybody's quiet. You go, and everybody, whoa.
you play it
so,
easy.
uh, so, it changes. Suddenly you can hear yourself again, and like, oh, what a difference. And, so, it changed everything. People actually listening to my songs, and then that's when we played with Pete Seeger. We also, we played with John Denver once too. Various people, but I got to play with Pete Seeger, and then a few weeks later, I met him again in another place, and then in another place, and as I tried to begin to be, something on my own, just crossed paths with him several times, and for some reason he liked me, and I just try to make sure to say I'm just one of thousands of musicians that was touched by Pete Seeger, but he changed my life, really. He gave me this idea that being a singer-songwriter, a guy with a guitar, is a good thing, and to be an activist and play for peace marches and protests and do a lot of free stuff as well as then try to play gigs. And then as that worked into that, I evolved into kind of reclaiming my Unitarian Universalist beginnings. I started at the Universalist Church of Norwell, Massachusetts, actually. That became a thing, and really a support mechanism. People who liked my songs, and at some point I suddenly thought, Gather the Spirit, getting played every, oh my God, I'm a church musician. Who would have thought? But I'm blessed that I've been able to find work doing what I'm doing, and all. So, well, here's the song. Pete, everybody knows. Well, I don't know. Young people don't know who the heck Pete Seeger is. There were a number of number one hit songs, usually not Pete doing it, but Pete and the Weavers had hit songs in the late 40s, early 50s, only to be blacklisted by House Un-American Activities Committee and McCarthy era and everything. And then then we didn't even let him on television for another decade and a half. Then he went on from all of that to just be a presence along the Hudson River, in Beacon, New York, where he lived, and he got a small sailboat. He said he loved sailing, and then was a part of these folks commissioning the boat that's called the Clearwater, sailing up and down the Hudson River, making raising consciousness about all of that. And I think he might have thought that was his greatest accomplishment. They essentially cleaned up the Hudson River, and then a lot of other rivers. The rivers of America were open sewers and toxic waste channels until the Clearwater came along.
He did great work.
So a lot of other musicians on the boat wrote songs, but Pete wrote this. This is an old Christmas carol tune. I'll take these earphones off. I can just hear myself right here. Of time and rivers flowing, the seasons make a song, and we who live beside her still try to sing along of rivers, fish, and men. And the season's still a-coming when she'll run clear again. So many homeless sailors, so many winds that blow. I asked the half-blind scholars which way the currents flow. So cast your nets below. And the gods of moving waters will tell us all they know. So many homeless sailors, so many winds that blow. I already sang this verse. I asked the half-blind scholars which way the currents flow. So cast your nets below. And the gods of moving waters will tell us all they know. circles of the atoms. Oh, no, that's not right. Here, planets comes first. The circle of the planets. Oh, the circles of the moon. The circles of the atoms all play a marching tune, and we who would join in can stand aside no longer. Now let us all begin. La 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 la. The words are easy. La 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 la. And we who would join in, and we who would join in, can stand aside no longer. Can stand aside no longer. Now let us all begin. Now let us all begin. Well, I was doing, before COVID hit, I was doing sometimes a Pete Seeger night, and we got to Pete's 100th birthday even. Maybe I'll do that again when we get back to touring. But I've come to think, I know a bunch of songs, but a lot of other people have recorded Pete's songs and all. I think maybe the difference is I'm writing them down, and I'll mention. I made a big book called the Earth and Spirit Songbook that is 110 songs, a couple by Pete in there, and Woody Guthrie even, and all kinds of other folkies and more contemporary artists. Songs of earth and ecology, environmentalism. And I'm working on a sequel book now, so, and I mean it, if you have a song, if you want to get in touch with me, my website's jimscottmusic.com. You can find, anybody can get in touch with me there. And I got a Facebook page and YouTube page and everything. I'm collecting. It's going to be a while before we get this book out, but there's a committee and everything. But we need the songs as the earth has, we've evolved in the almost 2 decades since I made the book, and there's new things. Climate change has really swept in and taken all the headlines. It used to be disappearing divergence of species and oceans and forests and wetlands and soil and air, and now it's climate change. I wonder if you just heard is it what United Nations thing, or is it an American thing? The EPA, something just said the biggest threat to our survival is not COVID-19, it's climate change. So we need songs about that stuff, and young people younger than me are writing great songs about all that. Well, so if I would slip in a song of my own in the Pete Seeger concert, I would like to say, well, Pete liked this song. Pete did like this song. He'd say, well, that's just what we need, a short verse and get right back to that chorus. A short verse that teaches us something, and then get right back to that chorus. I wrote this song with a bunch of kids. They told me all about the rainforest, and they knew all about it. The animals, we get a big piece of paper and brainstorm up everything we know about the rainforest, A lot of animals in the song. And then they told me about the 4 levels of the rainforest, which was news to me. I hadn't heard that before. It's in a book. So the 4 levels are in the song too, and then we see how they all go together. On the ground level, turtles and leopards and snakes live in the shelter the understory makes. The ground is so soft and the air is so clear, with 300 inches of rain every year. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Does that sound like a participatory refrain to you? With 4 notes, you can do it. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. And down in the ground, the worms and the ants nurture the roots of the flowering plants. And up in the canopy, life is a breeze. Orangutans swing from the limbs of the trees. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Now while some of us sing that part, we need some others us to sing another part. If you rain come down, la, la, la. Rain come down, oh let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. And the third verse is high up above, where the toucans fly. Emergent treetops reach into the sky. There's more kinds of plants than anyone knows. Look out, there's a sloth hanging by her 3 toes. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Oh, let Now about this point, I like to put in the pop quiz. What were those 4 levels of the rainforest? Well, this is the way I remember it. My musical memory device. There's the understory, the understory. If you got a low voice, be the understory. Understory goes up and down. The understory, understory, and the ground level. You can be the ground level, the ground level, or the understory, or the ground level. Canopy, ground level, canopy. Find your level. Canopy, the under, canopy, emergent. Wow. I think I might have made this program too long. Let me put this back. I'll make an executive decision. We put another kid song in there, but I think I'll have to come and do that again some other time.
This is art on the run.
Or yeah, that's the trouble with making up a list. You know, you go down the list, you get to the bottom, it's over.
That's right. Something moves you along the way, and you're like, I don't want to do that one. I'm gonna do something else instead.
Yeah. Pardon me.
It's all good. That was a fun song, the rain song.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, ordinarily I can lead it all by myself, but you're expecting people to chime in on a few of those things.
That's right. That's, these online shows are not that. It's a whole other world.
Well, when I made that song with the second graders, the music teacher said, "Oh, you've gone beyond them. They can't sing in 4 parts." Are you kidding? They can yell "emergent." they can go "canopy."
That's so funny. That's great. Really fun. Well, why don't you do? I mean, since it looks like we're coming up on 9 o'clock pretty soon. Right? Yeah. One more song, then we'll say goodnight after that. Is that all right?
Yeah. And I was saying I always tend to end with this song.
Okay. Well,
I'll take my headphones off and talk.
I'll see you on the flip side.
So I played the song with the Paul Winter Consort, or a version of this that then evolved into my song. Some people have said, oh, they learned this refrain. It's a 4-part round, the refrain. It's a Russian folk song, of Russian derivation, and I'm not sure if we haven't identified who actually wrote it. It's been attributed various different places. I think it's just in the realm of folk music. And it would sound like this in Russian. Нашей жизни мы должны закаты света звук, пропеть его в ночи, чтоб звезды слушали во сне и хоровод водили в тишине. Isn't that nice? Everybody! I'd heard the chorus that I'd heard to it in English. Just bugged me. It was not a complete sentence. It mixed singular and plural. It said if and it never said what. And so I thought, I gotta make that more poetic. So I did. I changed the words, and in a rush of irrational exuberance, I added 2 verses. From Russia to Brazil. I'm not sure what happened. My wish for you, as now we part, is for greater peace to fill your heart with dreams as vast as starry space. So hurt and anger know no place. May truth be shared and wounds be healed, and joy for living be revealed through every fade and circumstance. May hope lead weary steps to dance, and may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May fears be turned with keen insight to wisdom for what's just and right,
Where sorrow grows, compassion strong, and pains will pass before too long. May the bounds of our diversity serve a richer harmony. May courage hold your heart so true to smile on love when it smiles on you. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night. Let's put my headphones.
That was amazing. What a great night, Jim. Thank you so much for
Oh, it has been a
playing
delight. Thank you.
playing for us for the whole night. I really appreciate it. Second Friday group here really appreciates your taking some time and playing your beautiful songs for us at the beginning of that season here.
Thank everybody for listening. Thanks.
Yeah, and
we hunger for audiences these days. So
yeah,
it's
and we
so
hung-
nice to do, and great to connect with your wonderful series. You've had some great folks on this.
Well, thanks so much. Let me go to me for a second, and then you and I will chat afterwards. Thank you again, Jim.
Okay, I'm still here.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody. It was a delight.
Jim Scott, everybody. Just saying goodnight for the second Friday concerts at First Church in Belmont. We'll be back next month on October 8th, I think, is the second Friday. And with crossing our fingers, it will be our last only online only concert. And it's going to be a special night with performers from First Church in Belmont. All the performers are folks that attend services and perform at our, come and hang out at our monthly hootenanny that we used to have, and have been at our open mics. Friends and community members who play instruments, who don't get a chance to play concerts necessarily, and they play with their friends at their houses. And we thought it'd be really kind of a cool idea to have them be the concert for the last online concert that we do. And starting in November, we're going to be in person again, limited capacity, to make it a little bit more intimate in some ways and a little bit weird in some other ways. But that'll be good. We're going to try to go to a, proof of vaccination model, masking indoors, because Belmont is mandated indoor masking. But we'll have more information on the Second Friday Coffee House, Second Friday Concerts website, as you see scrolling along the bottom here. And but thank you all again for joining us, and we'll see you all next month. Thanks so much.